going to be one for the record books.
It's why America doesn't trust winter coverage to anyone else.
Welcome back to our severe weather coverage here on the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Jackie Jarris, along with meteorologist Chris Warren. We're here to get you through the latest with tornado warnings and the lightning. Still going. I'm like, what are you doing? St. Louis is done. Well, the tornado threat is done for now and has moved off towards the east, but we still have lightning, we still have rain.
Yeah, it's still crushing right now in terms of the rainfall. We've seen some decent amount of hail as well. South and west of here, what tennis ball size hail a little bit earlier, and some serious wet roads here at the moment as well.
All right, let's take a look at condition. We got some power outages too, by the way, across much of Missouri. I know it's in the tens of thousands. I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but I know Heather's going to pull it up in a little bit. We'll talk more about that. But let's show you this. I mean, look at this thing just wrapped up. This is like a textbook, right? Mid-latitude low that is producing severe weather. March is a very volatile month often, and this is really the kickoff of spring severe weather season.
And so, might be going a little too far off the rails here, but let's remember the big picture, the big picture, right? So what's going on across the Earth, there's the transfer of energy, right? The Earth, weather's always trying to balance itself out, and you can kind of get that little bit of a clash. But this kind of tells that story. You get the storm, the area of low pressure, there's a southerly flow, so that's your warmer, more humid air coming up, and then there's that cold air coming down, and then they're all kind of mixing together here. And when you get these extremes at times, and going from one extreme to another, there's snow here. Yeah. Right, this is a potent system, so there's some strong winds associated with this. All that mess ends up producing, and at times, unfortunately, some violent weather.
Yeah, I might want to mention, too, Heather, can we zoom down here into Mississippi just a little bit? Heather's on running the radar for us behind the scenes. If you're wondering why I keep saying, Heather, can we do this? We have some new storms that are developing out ahead of that main line, and this is an area that's going to be of concern tonight, but also into tomorrow. So some of these communities could get hit more than once. Our first severe thunderstorm warning of the night in the state of Mississippi for Humphrey, Sunflower, and Washington counties until 11:30. So there's Yazoo City. Here's Jackson, to put it in perspective for you. This is just to the north and west of there.
Again, so severe thunderstorm warnings with damaging winds, large hail, tornado warning, all along the line. And then what is not technically a severe criteria item, but the lightning can have severe consequences, very serious. With the damage it can do, it can create fires, unfortunately, if your house gets struck by lightning. And then there's that severe thunderstorm warning right here in Little Rock, north of town.
That's right. We had a tornado possible tag on this earlier. Let's see. Yep, we still have it on there right now. And so what that indicates is that there is some rotation within that storm. It's just not tight enough that it couldn't produce a tornado at this time. But if it strengthens and we get tighter rotation, this could ultimately turn into a tornado warning. So I like to treat these like tornado warnings anyway, especially as I see just, a little bit of a hook feature on that. You kind of see the eagle's wings with this as well. Yeah. So sort of indicating that we have a lot of violent vertical lift into the atmosphere.
And the strong winds, too, that are going around that updraft, creating that very unique look right here. Also, you're talking about you treat it like a tornado warning. Even severe thunderstorm warnings, even without the tag, if you're in some of these heavily wooded areas, can be extremely dangerous if there's trees around, right? Trees coming down on your home, or even just a huge limb. Like some of these big oak trees, they come down, can weigh hundreds of pounds.
Still dangerous to be on the roads, too, by the way, I might want to mention. So, we've got Highway 64 that runs right through there, and you don't want to be caught in these types of storms, not only because of the tornado and wind damage, but you just can't see your hand in front of your face. Tonight, we got a lot of moisture available with these storms, and so they're being prolific rainmakers. We do have a flood threat to go along with our severe weather over the next couple of days progressively, because we may be squeezing out enough rain that we'll get some standing water in spots, but multiple warnings here. So just to orient you, we are now into northern Arkansas, southern parts of Missouri. Here's Jonesboro, here's Poplar Bluff, and some of these have been confirmed tonight, Chris.
Right, and of course some of these have been doing damage as well, with multiple still ongoing right now. and these going again across several counties here, and that track does continue to push in this direction. The whole line itself is moving from west to east, but there's a little bit of southwest to northeast movement within the line.
Right, and it's moving very fast, right? A lot of our storms have been moving at highway speed tonight, 55 miles per hour. You know, that's like driving down the interstate and a tornado is riding right along with you the whole time. So my point with that, though, is you may have less time than what you would normally think when you would look at a radar and go, oh, you know what, I live in Vincennes, Indiana. I still have, usually it takes storms an hour and a half to get to Vincennes from St. Louis. Well, it's going to be less than that tonight because they're working that quickly, moving that quickly. So multiple warnings still in effect. Here's the latest on some of the power outages. Look at that. Over 50,000. 50,000. That's a lot of folks, right?
Yeah, and you know, a couple things. You know, populated area, pretty heavily populated area, but these are some nasty storms that were coming through. Multiple tornado warnings, similar to what we have now on the other side of town, on the other side of the Mississippi.
Right, so this is still affecting the Interstate 70 corridor, just over into Illinois on that side instead. These are going to be working towards Vandalia into Litchfield, where we have warnings in effect here right now. And look at this guy down towards Festus. We're starting to see a little bit of that notch feature being a little bit more obvious there, and it's still raining on the backside. If you don't have power and it's still raining and you're still seeing the lightning in the distance, it's a tough thing. You don't know if your threat is over with or not. So that's one of my big things, why you always need to have your cell phone charged, fully charged, going into an event like this, so you still get some of those alerts and you know what's going on. But I still think a NOAA weather radio, I know, call me old school, if you will. You know, that thing's got the battery in it, that's gonna last you forever. You get all the great information. And that way you have two sources. Especially if you're like, if you sleep like my husband. Now we're getting personal, but like, right, if you don't wake up usually from like one little thing, a lot of us need two different sources to be alerted while we're sleeping at night.
Absolutely, especially on a Friday night, you might be getting some extra hard sleep tonight too for some. So yeah, just you know, play it smart, you know, absolutely, with the different ways to get alerted and all through here. I mean, it's like the whole line, you know, it's, you know, lock in the elbows here, then it breaks up a little bit south of St. Louis, but then just go, there it is.
All right, so we mentioned the tornado possible tag. Looks like the rotation is getting tight enough that this could produce a tornado at any time. So now on the north side of Little Rock for Faulkner, Lanoke, and White counties till 11:15, we do have a tornado warning in effect for you. So that's just outside of Maumelle. That one's moving up to the north and the east, and another quick mover heading towards El Paso. That should be arriving there 11:04.
Again, this one of many tornadoes right now at this hour, with several hours to go through the day tomorrow and into Sunday, as this overall system and the severe weather likely tornado outbreak continues this weekend.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. We will break into programming as needed to keep you up to date and keep you safe tonight. Otherwise, we're going to go back to regular programming with weather.
QX80, you are clear for takeoff.